Houston, we just might have an issue here. Hey there folks, BRB Adventure here. We've got a roof rack going on in Annie today. Previous video we had some grab bars go in. We're going to see how the Sherpa rack goes, the Rugged Ridge Sherpa rack. We're going to get that installed. I'll take you along and see what kind of complications or whatever happen. I hope it just goes smooth and easy. I'll get a tool list together here and show you guys what you need to get this thing on there, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll talk to you in just a few seconds once we get all of our equipment out and ready. Talk to you in a bit. Hey there, so I've gone through the instructions and I figured out what they're looking for tools. They're suggesting a 17mm socket, 3/8 drive, a T40 Torx, and they're also a 13mm socket. They're suggesting we use tape to protect the paint for the parts we're replacing, a drill, and a 15/16 I believe it is drill bit. I'm gonna assorted ones here, and I got my ratchet here. They're also suggesting silicone for the joints, so I'm using some black silicone I've acquired. It won't be showing if any does leak past the joints, so there should be no obvious silicone. Anyways, we're gonna start putting this thing together and see how it goes. Here we are, just taking a look at the work table. Got some of the parts and pieces set up here. I'll start unwrapping this thing and figure out what goes on next. There's some bigger pieces still in the box there. Still have to take this out. I'll get the directions going and get this figured out. So as they suggested, I've taped up around the A-pillar, try and prevent any damage, and we'll start ripping these things off, see what happens here. Well, when you do these jobs, every once in a while you come up with an unexpected surprise. Here we go. Now that is a mess. So that's going to have to be cleaned up before I can put the new pieces on. Oh well, all a day in the life of a Jeeper. Crossbar for the front went on pretty good. I haven't tightened it up yet. It says don't not tighten all the bolts until you get it together, which makes sense because you're going to want some wiggle room. So everything's just loose. It's looking pretty good so far. No blemishes or anything in it. The bumper bolts actually came off easier than I anticipated. A bit of a good yank and they backed right out. I'm gonna use Never Seas on when I put it back in, as I really think that I might be taking the bumper off here in the near future to put an aftermarket one on. And up here in Canada we've got rust problems like you wouldn't believe if you don't put some kind of agent on the bolts to prevent it from rusting. Okay, the bracket's in there. Here's a bit of a fight. It suggests to drill the bracket once you get everything tightened up. So there's another, I have to drill a hole there, but it says in the manual to leave everything loose until it's on and then tighten everything up. That's what I'm going to do. And then the bracket comes out over top of the bumper, and then there's that bracket there that you have to bolt down. But it's going pretty good. Quick little update here. Well, we've got the back bar, we've got it in place. A little bit of challenges. The bracket on the bottom there, it had a burr on the nut. There's a nut in there. It's welded onto the bracket itself, and that burr caused the bolt to thread in. It was really hard to thread in. Oh, I see. Do I have a problem here? I don't know. Looks like it might be hard to get gas. Houston, we just might have an issue here. I'll have to see what it looks like when it's all finished. I just noticed that. Suck a bone. Maybe it'll change where it sits once I get it all snugged up. But it did say that that flare is supposed to, that bend is supposed to go towards the fender flare. Hey there. So, job's pretty much well, it is complete. Got the roof rack all tightened up. Tools I ended up using, I thought I just gonna need a couple sockets. As a 5/8 socket, 1/2 inch drive. Couldn't get the passenger side bumper bolts off very easy. I had to bring in the big guns, and so I found out it was actually a standard size nut head, not a metric. I ended up using a punch, one of my own Allen wrenches for the bump stop. The Allen keys they provided didn't fit that one bolt, no big deal. A hammer, and the speed wrench was really handy for all of those T40s that were on the A-pillar. So just help with if you're doing it all by hand tools, and if you have a speed wrench, it makes it a little bit quicker. You don't really need it, but you know, anything to speed the job up a little bit. But everything went well. A couple of the welded on nuts on some of the brackets had burrs, caused a little bit of degradation to the bolt when I bolted it down, but nothing I couldn't overcome. I did have black silicone, probably made for a little better finished job. You don't really see the silicone, you wipe it off, but yeah, black, it doesn't show up. So yeah, overall I think the job was pretty good. I don't have any regrets. Did make a couple little mistakes, but you'll see that in the video. So I'll just do a little pan around the roof rack. Those were a bit of a pain in the butt, but I got that to straighten out right into the sun there, of course, with the roof bar. All looks pretty good. I'm happy with how it all came out. Well, we got the Rugged Ridge Sherpa rack installed. Pretty impressed. Seems to be good quality materials. It's not too junky and flimsy. I'm not sure how it's going to perform, but that's an ongoing process anyways. We'll be putting some kayak racks on this pretty soon, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my lights and whatnot, but I think this is going to work out pretty good. The price was okay, so it wasn't the cheapest thing out there, but yet it wasn't the most expensive either. Overall, it went together pretty good. It did take me a bit of time, but I was working by myself with hand tools, and there was a couple of gotchas, but nothing that I couldn't overcome. So I'm going to be happy, but I will be reviewing this maybe in a couple of months, maybe in the fall once I use it for the summer, and see if anything creeps up along the way. Some of the instructions were a little bit confusing, but nothing I couldn't figure out. The only thing that was really wacky was how they described doing the bump stops on the back corner of the rack where it comes against the body. Description of that wasn't super clear, but I've done enough mechanical stuff over the years. I kind of figured out what they were asking for, even though the wording was a little awkward. They were suggesting you tighten the washers, not the nuts. So you're supposed to tighten up the washers, and I'm like, I thought you tighten up a washer without a nut. But anyways, it's other than that little snafu in the directions, I'm pretty impressed. We'll see how she handles out here. Okay, we'll talk to you on the next one. Take care. Hey, did you like this video? Comment, subscribe, and share my videos. Please consider becoming a Patreon. By the way, if you hammer on that bell icon, you will be notified when I release new videos. Please check out my social media. If you are on a computer, all the links are down below. And if you are on a mobile device, you can tap that arrow on the right below the video to see all the links. Thanks for watching. Remember, no matter where you are, you can always make your own adventure.